tell me, Ken, I really appreciate your sharing. I know we communicated a few times on Notes from the Village, and I think we maybe even had a phone conversation maybe once or twice, particularly during the pandemic situation. Can you share with us how you came involved with Notes from the Village?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you the origin. It may have been, a friend of a friend, or back when you were doing the audio recordings of, the voices from the inside about the guy, us, how we were experiencing COVID in an institutionalized environment. I think that's how we originally touched bases. Of course, probably through Wendy. She's a fierce Facebook activist. So,
I think she found me on Facebook.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I think
she
so.
told me to add you or something.
I think so. Something of that sort. She's a social media guru.
Yes.
I'm still figuring out the basics of how to post my name sometimes. So she's a social media guru, and it seems like anywhere anybody's advocating for prisoners or for the wrongfully convicted or for justice, period, she's there. So that's probably the likely connection.
Yeah.
More so than not, because again, she's a social media guru. She's probably at work right now, typing on her computer, working with one hand, and social media with the left hand. So,
wow. Well, I am so glad that she made that connection. I went back, I think a couple of days after you had gotten out, and I went back in my JPay because I wanted to just see. All right, well, how much? What? And there were several JPays. And I actually posted them on my Facebook because I was like, there's a track record, there's the digital trail, if you will, and to see you be out on this side, we've seen brothers come out, I've picked them up at various facilities and such, but to see this is the first time that someone's been exonerated and freed. Who's connected with Notes from the Village. So we're just very excited for you, excited for your path, your journey, and whatever your divine assignment is on this side of the wall. Very prayerful and trusting that God will grant you all the grace needed to bear the weight and to cast all the other weight on God. Hey, God will handle it. So again, prepare to be amazed, prepare to make the journey and be embraced by all the goodness that is of the motherland. Believe it or not, there are people right now who's connected to us on that continent who are already excited about your coming. They know about you. They've been a part of Notes for the Village for a while, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, he's coming!" So you'll be. Is there anything that you'd like to say? What does that mean? When you hear that? What do you even think? What comes to mind?
It's almost. It's sad to say, but it's the honest to God truth. It's sad to say that. It's almost celebrity status, but for all the wrong reasons. People are celebrating that I was freed because I was innocent. That's a horrible connotation in a world where, in a society where we brag about justice, right? Where's the justice in spending almost 16 years incarcerated for a crime you didn't commit? There's no justice in that. There's no fairness in that. But the fact that we're celebrating is amazing because it and where we come from, it happens so often. It happens so often, and my story isn't a singular story. My story isn't a one-off. All right. I'm number 28, to be realistic. I'm number 28 from Detroit. So there were 27 guys that came before me. But the fact that we're making progress, The fact that we're tearing down those walls. There's 28 empty bunks that we can brag about right now that don't hold an innocent person sitting on them. That's what we should be celebrating. That, you know, society is finally starting to recognize what we've been saying for decades. You know, this doesn't include the people that didn't make it. This also doesn't include the guys that haven't made it yet. However, the weight of being the voice of this movement, I'm with it. You know, I'm with it. If this is what it takes to make number 29, 30, 31, 32, I'm with it. Let's do it. You know, for the people that are cheering me on, don't stop with me, because I'm just the latest. I'm just the latest, right? There's another guy sitting on this bunk right now that needs that same respect, that same encouragement, that same know-how, that same support that brought me to you. There's a guy sitting on this bunk that's waiting on that same support. So, you know, for the people in other countries and other continents that are cheering this, be somebody. You know, be the change that you want to see. That old famous Gandhi saying, be the change that you want to see. You know, if you're happy about me, there's another guy that needs the same support and that same joy. And I'm not going to stop. And hopefully you don't stop trying to make that change, because there's always a change to be made. If you're trying to figure out where you fit in, find it, because there's a place for you. There's a place for you to be that change, whether it's small, even if it's something simple as answering the phone when he calls or she calls, or responding to a letter when he writes or she writes, or responding to a message when they're reaching out, begging for somebody to listen to them. It may not be a big gesture to you, but to him, it can mean the world, or to her, it can mean the world. It changes how small that room is. It changes how small that cell is. You may think that it's small and it's simple. It's not. It's not. Because I said this in an interview last night with a very important person that works for the city. Support is all you have. Support is the only glimmer of hope that you have. And there's a lot of people that don't have that glimmer of hope. There's a lot of people that succumb to that environment because they didn't have the support that I had. They didn't have that glimmer of hope that I had. I came home with a team of people fighting for me. I came home with a support system that hundreds of thousands of guys don't have. The conservative number, just in Michigan alone, is somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 guys are wrongfully incarcerated. It's our job as a society to find those guys. It's our job as advocates to be their voice. And it's our responsibility to dig the dirt off of those coffins, because right now they're buried alive. They're buried alive under mountains of paperwork and bureaucracy that has nothing to do with their innocence. And it's our responsibility to use our voice and our shovels to undig them.